Hello, my third grade mathematicians. Today we're going to continue to work on fractions. We will be recognizing and showing that equivalent fractions refer to the same point on the number line. Now, just as we have over yesterday, we are going to continue to look for that mystery word. Now, I won't tell you what the mystery word is. You're going to have to pay close attention and think about the words that you hear and what we've learned about. Now, this mystery word today is a word that you're going to hear a lot today, and it's a word that you've heard a lot over the past couple of weeks. So, happy hunting. Let's do our best. So, we're going to begin with our problem of the day, and in your packet, it is the application problem. So, let's read this together. Everyone ready? Read. Dorothea is training to run a 2-mile race. She marks off her starting point and the finish line. To track her progress, she places a mark at 1 mile. She then places a mark halfway between her starting position and 1 mile and another mark halfway between 1 mile and the finish line. So now it tells us A, to draw and label a number line to show the points Dorothea marks along her run. Also, B, what fractional unit does Dorothea make as she marks the points on her run? And C, what fraction of her run has she completed when she reaches the third marker? So let's think about, what do we know in this story? Yes, she is training to run a 2-mile race. She marks off her starting point and the finish line. And very good, she places a mark at 1 mile. Then she places a mark halfway between her starting position and 1 mile, and another mark halfway between 1 mile and the finish line. So the first thing I start thinking is, I'm going to get my number line drawn. I think that will help me. So it says in A that we have to draw and label a number line. So let's start with our number line. And it says that she's running a 2-mile race. So let's go ahead and let's start right here. So we're going to put our endpoints of 0 and 0 miles. And then I'm going to label like where 1 mile would be, and then where 2 miles will be. Now, this is just one race. We have to keep that in mind. This is just one race. So it also tells us that she places a mark halfway between her starting point and 1 mile. So here's her starting point, and here's 1 mile. So let's put a tick mark right here between her starting point and 1 mile. And then another tick mark between 1 mile and the finish line. Okay, so both of those places, let's put tick marks and plot some dots. So we've drawn a number line, but we haven't labeled it yet. So how many equal parts are there? We have, let's look at them. Here's 1. Here's 1. Sorry, I keep making it go back. All right, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So if there are 4 equal parts, what's our fractional unit? Very good, it is fourths. So this would be 0 fourths, 1 fourth, and I know some of you have already labeled this, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, and 4 fourths. Okay, so we've completed A. Now B says, what fractional unit does Dorothea make as she marks the points on her run? Well, we just said that. What is the fractional unit? Look at your denominator. Yes, it is fourths. So beside of B, you would write the unit is fourths, or Dorothea, I'm going to put D, makes fourths. Now, the last question says, what fraction of the run, or what fraction of her run has she completed when she reaches the third marker? So let's do that. Let's go first marker, second marker, third marker. So what fraction of the race has she completed? Very good. She has finished 3/4 of her run when she gets to the third marker. And because I don't have room, I'm going to write it up here. She finishes she has finished, or she finished 3/4 of her run at the third marker. Now, each of you need to write this on your page where you have your application problem. All right, if you need to pause and finish, that's fine. Let's keep on going. So today, our objective is that we are learning to recognize and show that equivalent fractions refer to the same point on the number line. We use fractions every day, so it's very important that we have a good understanding of fractions. So in your packet, in your bag that I gave you, you have fraction strips. So you're going to have those fraction strips out today. Now, the difference between what you see on my board here and what you have is that your fraction strips have already been cut out for you. So you're not going to have to cut those out. They're already there for you. All you have to do is pick them up and use them. So we're going to make different fractions or different fractional units with our fraction strips. So I want you to take your fractional unit or your fraction strip that's partitioned into halves. That means it has 2 equal parts. Very good. And I want you to label each part with a unit fraction. So what would the unit fraction be for each part? Perfect. The unit fraction would be 1/2 for each part. So each part needs to say 1/2. Very good. Now I want you to find the fractional strip that shows fourths. So what would the fractional unit be for each part? If you have 4 equal parts, what would the unit fraction be? Excellent, 1/4. So label each one of those parts 1/4 because each of those is 1/4. Great job. Now what I want you to do is I want you to shade 1/2. So the strip that you labeled 1/2, I want you to shade 1/2 of it. So I'm just going to lightly shade 1/2. Now, how many fourths would be equivalent to the half that is shaded? Tell a friend. Very good job, 2/4. So let's shade 2/4. You can see they are at the same point. So 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent fractions. So 1/2 is equal or equivalent to 2/4. All right, good job. Let's keep going. Now, just like we did earlier, we're going to go back and we're going to make this 1/2 and 1/2, this 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. We're using the same fraction strips that we just used. But now we're going to do something a little bit different with these. We're going to make number lines. So I'm going to make a number line the same length as my fraction strip, but just a little bit longer. And I'm going to plot right here. That would be 0/2. This would be 1/2, and this would be 2/2. I'm going to do the same thing with my fourths, but just a little bit longer, but I'm still going to plot right there and right there. So this would be 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. I'm lining them up just like they are above. Here is 0/2, 1/2, and 2/2. Now, can you see that 1/2 is at the same point as 2/4 is on the number line? So the fraction 1/2 is equivalent or equal to 2/4. Okay? Good job. Keep up the good work. Let's keep going. So we can also say, we said that 1/2, we saw that 1/2 was equal to 2/4. We also know that right here we have 2 halves and we have 4 fourths. So 2 halves is equal to 4 fourths because each one of them equals 1 whole. All right, let's keep going. Actually, let's go back one. So we have sixth. So let's look at sixth. So I want you, or thirds and sixths. So I want you to look at this. We have 3 equal parts. Find your fraction strip that shows 3 equal parts. So the unit fraction for each one would be 1/3. And then let's look at our fraction strip that shows sixth. And what would the unit fraction be for each one? Very good, 1/6. So label each one of those 1/6. Now, I want you to shade in 1/3. So shade in 1/3. So that would be 1 part. So we have 1/3 shaded in. Now, how many sixths would be equivalent to 1/3? So look down here, go straight down, and yes, very good. 2/6 is equivalent to 1/3. So 1/3 is equal to 2/6. Now let's try this with a number line. So let's draw a number line right between the two of them. And you can do this with your fraction strips. I'm going to make my endpoints exactly at the same point that they are there. Now I'm going to start by labeling my thirds. Okay, so this would be 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. And I did it just like it is up there. Now I'm going to look down here and label my sixth. And I'm going to change my color again. And I'm going to label my sixth. So right here is sixth. So right here, 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 and here. Now I'm going to label these 0/6, 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. Now, can you see that right here, 1/3 and 1/6 are at the same point on this number line? Look, they're at the same point. 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. Do you see anything else that's equivalent? Very good. 2/3 is equivalent to 4/6. Anything else? Very good. This is supposed to be 6/6. 3/3 is equivalent to 6/6. Good job, boys and girls. Remember, you have these fraction strips to use. That's what they are for. All right, let's do a little bit of guided practice now. And we're going to do that. We're going to look up here. We're looking at fourths only. We're starting out with just fourths. So that's what you need to focus on first, are the fourths. So if I have fourths, I have 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Oh, that's 1 whole. Then 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, and 8/4. Then at the bottom, I partitioned into eighths. So I have 0/8, 1/8. Then I have 2/8 missing, 3/8. I have 4/8 missing, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8 missing, 8/8 missing, 9/8, 10/8, 11/8. I have 12/8 missing, 13/8, 14/8, 15/8, and then 16/8 is 1 whole. Good. So this one is partitioned into thirds. So 0/3, 1/3 on that line, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, and 6/3. Now the bottom is sixths, so I have to look. So there's 0/6. So then that one would be 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6 would go on that line, 5/6, 6/6 would be 1 whole, 7/6, 8/6, 9/6, 10/6,